So today we have finished. Actually, we will start taxonomy, the basics of taxonomy. So I'll share the slide. Just tell me if when it is visible and when it's not visible. If you have questions, please interrupt me. যদি question থাকলে আমাকে আটকে দিও কিন্তু।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
तुम लोग को कहीं पे भी कोई भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है या मैं बहुत जल्दी से बोल रहा हूँ, इफ आई एम टॉकिंग वेरी फास्ट, then please stop me. Suddenly you don't understand the word which I am speaking, please stop me and ask me what does this mean. There is nothing known as stupid question. There are only things known as stupid answer. कुछ भी question पूछ सकते हो, बेवकूफ वाला सवाल होता नहीं है, बेवकूफ वाला जवाब होता है। जो जो जवाब नहीं दे पाता है बोल दिया क्वेश्चन बेवकूफ है। नाच न जाने आंगन टेढ़ा। इसीलिए मुझे जब पता नहीं कोई क्वेश्चन का आंसर पता नहीं, मैं बोलता हूँ कि भाई ये तो मुझे मालूम नहीं है, मैं देख के तुमको बता दूंगा। कभी नहीं बोलता हूँ कि ये बेवकूफ वाला क्वेश्चन है। Okay, so in the basics of taxonomy, you have to study the basics of classification. So one thing is you people are able to see this. दिखाई दे रहा है ये?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
अच्छा, ठीक है। Okay. So you have on the top a kingdom. The kingdom is Animalia. It is multicellular. It can be a kingdom plants also. So it's a kingdom. Below the kingdom, you have levels of organization. Levels of organization. You have what is organization? How our body is structured. বডির মধ্যে কি কি আছে, হাউ দে আর অর্গানাইজড, ওটা কোনটা কিভাবে রয়েছে। হ্যাঁ, so that is what you study in levels of organization. So you first study at the level of the cell, that is the cellular level. এক একটা কোষকে স্টাডি কর রहे हो, एक एक কোষ স্টাডি কর रहे हो। হ্যাঁ, এক একটা কোষ পড়ছো তোমরা। and you also study at the level of tissue. So what is a tissue? Tissue is basically cells, many cells of the same type, like liver cell, many liver cell together is known as tissue. Cell একটা হচ্ছে সেল, কিন্তু অনেকগুলো সেল একসঙ্গে, you call it a tissue. Liver tissue, kidney tissue at a specific function. Tissue has got a specific function. Liver tissue means that they have got function of liver. Organ is liver is an organ. Organ system, liver belongs to the digestive system. So the digestive system includes your mouth, teeth, tongue, esophagus, your intestine, stomach, intestine, rectum, anus. This is your digestive system. So that is an organ system. Many organs together make an organ system. These are the levels of organization. Then after that, you go to symmetry. You have studied that bilateral symmetry. If you divide from the center, you have two equal sides. And radial symmetry is like a ball. You cut from any angle, from the center, you get two equal halves. Like echinoderms, you find a radial symmetry. You can have 5 pentamerous radial symmetry. And then the interesting thing is that you have heard about body cavity or coelom. So body is divided into 3 cell layers, normally ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So in triploblastic means they have got 3 cell layers. One is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So you have acoelomates where there is no body cavity. There is no cavity. You have only ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. There is no space. Cavity is a space. Fluid filled space. Cavity or body cavity or coelom is a fluid filled space. And this fluid space is in between the mesoderm. So the body layer in between the mesoderm. So ectoderm, mesoderm 1, coelom, mesoderm 2, then you have the endoderm. So if you don't have any body cavity, let me show you the body cavity once more. Hey, are you able to see this picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First is acylomate. Outside this color you have seen, this is the ectoderm. Then the green color is the mesoderm. And the red color is the endoderm. In between is the digestive cavity. So in acylomates, there is no space. And in eucoelomates, the true coelomates, ectoderm, mesoderm 1, then there is this fluid filled space known as coelom, then another green layer of mesoderm 2, and then you have the orange colored endoderm. This is coelom, body space. Every organism during development has got a phase of coelom. Those who don't have coelom, they are the acylomates. And pseudocoelom is when the space is not between mesoderm. Here the space is in between mesoderm, then it's a true coelom. It is not, there is a fluid filled space, but it is not in between the mesoderm. Therefore, it is known as pseudocoelomate. कैसा ये क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, सुनाइए दिया.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next thing you find is coelom. So you can divide it into acylomates, false coelom, pseudocoelomates, and true coelom, coelomates. And then beside that, you can divide it into phylum. So the level of organization in the cellular level are in the sponges or phylum Porifera, where you find them just as sponge, single cellular level. Then tissue, then you have radial symmetry. Who has radial symmetry? The cnidarians and the ctenophorans. They have radial symmetry. No body cavity, the platyhelminthes or the flatworms. With false coelom, who do you have? You have the ascihelminthes or the roundworms. Ascaris. Then you have true coelom. Annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, hemichordates, chordates. They have got true coelom. So let us see the how to basic classification. There was a Carl Linnaeus in 1858 divided the living world. জিতা জাগতা যারা বেঁচে টেচে রয়েছে প্রাণী জগৎকে দুভাগে বিভাজিত করলো. সেটা হচ্ছে one is plantae and the second is animalia. So first is plant and animal. This is the two kingdom classification of Linnaeus. Levels of organization. You see, this is cells. Then tissue. Eta plant er moddhe tissue. Eta ekta animal er moddhe tissue. All these tissues together make an organ. Leaf is an organ. Heart is an organ. All the everything together, this makes an organ system. Trachea, vessels niye jacche edike, heart, all the circulatory system, arteries and veins together, they make an organ system, and together they make the organism. These are the levels of organization. Symmetry in sponges, no symmetry, they are porifera. Radial symmetry. If you divide this organism, this anemone, into two types, you find radial symmetry. পাঁচ দিকে ভাগ করা যাচ্ছে, কিন্তু then you have the bilateral symmetry. If you divide this into two, you'll have two symmetries. But if you divide it from this side, you don't have any, you won't get us equal sides, so that it's got a bilateral symmetry. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here the coelom, which we are talking about, the coelom. In the coelomate, you have the blue color is ectoderm, the covering. This red color is the mesoderm. And this red color is also the mesoderm. In between the mesoderm, there is a fluid-filled space known as coelom. And below this is the endoderm. And in pseudocoelom, you see in between endoderm and in between mesoderm, you are seeing the fluid-filled space. And in flatworms, acoelomates, you basically don't have any coelom at all. So the animal kingdom, you can see that it can be divided into phyla, annelid, nematode, arthropods, platyhelminthes, chordates, poriferans, echinoderms, cnidarians, mollusca. You can divide them. Arthropod, you have seen chelicerates, crustaceans, labiates. In chordates, you have the vertebrates. The vertebrates can be divided into amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, bony fish, cartilaginous fish, lampreys, hagfish. So, like this, the whole animal kingdom can be classified. What is the basis of classification? Classification basis is to organize a group organisms with similar characteristics together and dissimilar characteristics in a different group. একই রকম দেখতে হলে এক জায়গায় রাখছে, একটু আলাদা দেখতে হলে আলাদা জায়গায় রাখছে. This is the basis of classification. এটা তো করলাম. So what is biological zoological classification? So people botanists call this botanical classification, zoologists call them zoological classification. Basically they are same, but scientists, the biology botanists and zoologists always have got fighting among each other. So it's biological. So when you are giving a botany exam, you will write botanical classification. Zoology exam, zoological classification. You're giving biology exams, then biological classification. So biological classification and zoological classification, it is the process by which scientists group living organisms. Organisms are classified on the basis of how similar they are. যত একরকম দেখতে একই জাতের মধ্যে একই গ্রুপের মধ্যে রেখে দিচ্ছে, একটু আলাদা দেখতে অন্য গ্রুপে রেখে দিচ্ছে. So this is biological classification. So basically we currently we follow the 5 kingdom classification given by Whittaker in 1969. What Whittaker, how did he divide the living kingdom? He divided it into Monera. Monera are the unicellular bacteria, unicellular prokaryotic cells. Then Protista, they are the unicellular eukaryotic cells. Then he divided into fungi, mushrooms, so that plantae, plants, and animals. These are the multicellular eukaryotes. Many cells of eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells have got a Golgi body, nucleus, different cell organelles. And prokaryote cells, they don't have cell organelles. Now we come to the question: what is systematics and what is taxonomy? Basically, it is the science of classifying organisms. Classification माने की means एक जैसे दिखने वाले को एक जगह के एक ग्रुप में रखा और एक जैसे नहीं जो है उसको अलग ग्रुप में रखा. This is classification. So, and the science of classification, the discipline of classification, you can call them systematics. Discipline of taxonomy is also the same thing, but there is a difference. Systematics, what it does, first it provides scientific names for organisms. Say a dog, the name, suddenly a dog like species comes, something like a dog comes. How do you know it's a dog? You give it a scientific name. You call it Canis familiaris. That is, you give it a scientific name. Then what you do, you describe them after giving a scientific name, so that you give a scientific name that people in Africa, America, they speak different languages. But if you give the Latinized name, the Canis familiaris means dog all over the world. Bobo all over the world. Okay. And then you describe them. You write You look at a dog and write its characteristics. So in systematics and taxonomy, in both of them, you describe them and you write characteristics. And you preserve collection of them. If you go to the Indian National Museum, which you will be going some days later, you will see lots of collections of animals are present in the museum. You preserve collections of them. So you collect them, and then you provide classification. Okay, so dogs eat meat, cats eat meat. So both of them are carnivorous. They have got long carnivorous teeth. So they are carnivorous. Order carnivora. You place them under carnivores. And then you give keys for their identification. It has got canine teeth, hence order carnivora. It does not have carnivorous teeth, hence order herbivora. Something like this. This is known as key to identification. And you give data on the distribution. It is found in the hills, it is found in the mountains, it is found in the water, it is found cosmopolitan, found everywhere. So these 4 points are points of taxonomy. Then the next thing, you investigate the evolutionary history. Ancestor থেকে তুমি পূর্বপুরুষ থেকে modern generation, you come to the modern generation, from the ancestor to present day species. For example, evolution has taken place, so you get an evolutionary data also. You study the evolutionary data, that it became different from this branch, it became different from this branch. You study them, and then you consider their environmental adaptation. Some have been adapted to eating worms, some birds have adapted to eating fruits, some have adapted to eating berries. Maybe from a single type, looking same, like the Darwinian finches. They look the same, but some of these birds, they eat uh, seeds, some eat insects, some eat fruits. So their food habits have changed. With that, the beak patterns have also changed, but color is grayish. So you study them in systematics. So taxonomy deals with point A, point B, point C, and point D. And in systematics, you study point A, B, C, D, plus you study point E and point F. You study both these two characters. So this is the difference between systematics and taxonomy. Is this clear? समझ में आया ज्योति?
सर सिस्टमैटिक में कौन कौन सा पॉइंट बोले?
Point E or point F extra. You study their evolution and you study their adaptation also. Adaptation means what are the features they have, that for they are adapted to life on trees. What are the, जैसे बंदर का पूंछ होता है, पिछवा है, जो पैर है वो हाथ जैसा होता है, something like that is adaptation. You study that also in systematics. और बंदर और इंसान एक ही पूर्वज से आया है, that you study, that is evolutionary history. You study that in systematics. In systematics also you study, you give the scientific name, you describe characters of them, you preserve collections of them in the museum, and you classify them, hence order, hence class, hence this. Clear?
हाँ सर.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you go to the taxonomic rank. Organisms, they are classified primarily according to the system of 7 ranks. Classify them. What are the system of 7 ranks? सबसे नीचे आता है species, लेकिन दिया हूं सबसे ऊपर में. Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. For example, we are Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus name, and sapiens is the species name. Remember, you must always write H capital and S small, Homo sapiens. And if you are writing by hand, you must always underline. But if you are typing, you have to write it in italics. বেকানো।
Yes,
যদি
sir.
দেখো তুমি আন্ডারলাইন করবে, হোমো মাস্ট বি আন্ডারলাইন, সেপিয়েন্স মাস্ট বি আন্ডারলাইন। So first is Homo sapiens, member of the genus Homo with a high forehead and thin skull bones. हम लोग का फोरहेड जो सामने ऊपर वाला ये जो सर का जो हिस्सा है, दिस इज ब्रॉड। बंदर का देखो पीछे में आ जाता है, बंदर गोरिल्ला का देखोगे वो लोग पीछे में आ जाता है, छोटा होता है सामने वाला, क्योंकि हम लोग का ब्रेन थोड़ा ज्यादा बड़ा होता है, हमारे ब्रेन टा একটু বেশি বড় হয়। And we have got thin skull bones. And then above that आता है, the next rank is genus. So they are hominids with upright postures and large brains. हम लोग सीधा चलते हैं, therefore we are homo. We had homo sapiens, we had homo habilis, ये लोग भी सीधा चलते थे। homo habilis is extinct, हम लोग ये अर्ली मैन होता था। Then you have the family of hominids. हम लोग का चपटा सर फेस होता है, फ्लैट फेस, हम लोग का कुत्ता जैसा चोंच नहीं रहता है। Then you have order, primates. हम लोग का कॉलर बोन रहता है, कॉलर बोन ये यहाँ पे रहता है, कॉलर बोन, कॉलर के पास। और फिंगर्स पकड़ने वाला, ग्रास्पिंग फिंगर्स, पॉज नहीं है। थंब इज ऑपोजिंग द फोर फिंगर्स, देयरफॉर वी, उसके ऊपर में आता है, फैमिली के ऊपर में आता है कम्स ऑर्डर, अबव ऑर्डर कम्स क्लास, वी बिलोंग टू द क्लास मैमेलिया। मेमोरी ग्लैंड्स रहता है, स्तन, we have got mammary glands, then we have got hair all over the body, লোম আছে সারা বডিতে, এটা mammals এর characteristics. Then you have phylum chordata, we have got रीढ़ का हड्डी है, backbone, मेरुदंड, and we are animals, we are able to move on our own, therefore we are animals. So taxonomic rank is clear?
हाँ sir.
Okay. कुत्ता, kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Carnivora, family Canidae, genus Canis, species Canis familiaris. ये डॉग का टैक्सोनॉमी है। ये मजाक है, किंग फिलिप क्राइड आउट फॉर गुडनेस सेक। सो के किंगडम, पी होता है फाइलम, सी क्लास, एफ फैमिली, ओ इज ऑर्डर, जी इज फॉर जीनस एंड एस फॉर स्पीसीज. So just to remember the sequence, King Philip cried out for goodness sake. Now we must know about what is taxonomic characters. Taxonomic characters are taxonomic attributes that can be used to provide evidence from which relationships between taxa are inferred. So a dog, a cat, a mouse, and elephant. How do you say that they are different? एरा आलादा क्यों, ये लोग अलग क्यों है? On the base, किसके बेसिस से तुम बोलोगे कि ये अलग है, और कार भित्तिते बोलबे जे एगुलो आलादा? On what basis will you say that cat, dog, mouse, elephant, they are separate, अलग? That is that उसे कहते हैं attribute, and that is the taxonomic attribute. What are the taxonomic attributes? First is morphology. दिखने में अलग है, डॉग का एक अलग टाइप का शेप है, कुकुरদের আলাদা देखते। morphology, बाहर वाला, from outside what you see, that is morphology. Physiology, what happens inside the body. Our heart, we are human beings, our heart rate is 72, dog's heart rate is 108. Physiology is different. Ecology, we live monkeys live in trees, we live on land. Monkeys का ecology ऊपर में रहता है, so it is different. Ethological characters, There are two species of flies, Drosophila simulans and Drosophila melanogaster. I'm showing a picture of them. I show a picture of Drosophila. Drosophila simulans. ये जो ड्रोसोफिला सिमुलेंस एंड मेलानोगैस्टर दिख रहा है ना, मेलानो, दिस इज ड्रोसोफिला मेलानोगैस्टर एंड सिमुलेंस, दिखाई दे रहा है फोटो?
Yes, sir.
They more or less they look the same. ये इसमें अलग करके दिखा है, इसमें they look the same. But they are different species because Drosophila melanogaster cannot mate with this and this cannot mate with this. But they can mate. ये दोनों आपस में मेट कर सकते हैं, ये दोनों आपस में मेट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन ये दोनों और ये दोनों आपस में मेट नहीं कर सकता, करते हैं. There are some hybrids formed. Why? Because of a behavior. एक डांस पैटर्न होता है, फीमेल मेल्स दे कोट द फीमेल्स. ये female, they have got, males have got a different dance pattern of melanogaster, males have a different dance pattern of simulants. तो जब ये मेल डांस करता है, simulants female is unable to understand that the male wants to mate. उसीलिए ये लोग मेट नहीं कर सकते हैं. Therefore ये लोग they are different species. On the basis of ये दोनों को अलग किया, एक को simulants बनाया, एक को melanogaster बनाया. On the basis of this. Clear? And geographical character. Somebody lives in America, some live some African elephant, Indian elephant. Morphological characters क्या है? All as their shape, size, color, बाहर से, बाहर থেকে যেরকম দেখতে. They are of an organism specific parts, like all animals whose body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. They are insect. They have 3 pairs of thoracic legs. They are known as insects. This is morphological character. Physiological character. Gills से some respire करता है, and we respire through mouth and lungs. Therefore, the fish is different from us. Physiological character. Ecological character. Polar region है polar bear, mountain region है the mountain bear. So you can separate them, the 2 types of bears. Ursula acta, bear is sentient. Ecological characters I've seen that they look the same. Simulants and melanogaster, they look the same. But their dance pattern, orientation is different. They look the same, but their behavior is different. African and elephant and geographical. You have elephant in Africa and elephant in Asia. They look different. They're more or less similar. They have got minor characteristics. The 2 elephants are different. So you can separate these 2 elephants by geographical character. One lives in Asia, one lives in Africa. And DNA sequence. Molecular biology. You can divide them. This is the most accurate nowadays they're used. The DNA sequence. Ribosomal DNA, you sequence them. On the basis of the sequence, you can classify them. So we end the class today. Tomorrow, next day we will continue with taxonomy. ঠিক আছে, কোয়েশ্চেন আছে?
नहीं सर, समझ आ गया सर।
समझ में आ गया है क्या कैसा?
यस सर।
और এই ज्योति?
है सर।
ओके, ठीक আছে, ठीक है, देन बाय बाय, अगेन वी मीट ऑन वेडनेसडे, ठीक है? ऑनलाइन प्लस ऑफलाइन, कम एज पर योर कॉन्फिडेंस। ऑनलाइन आ सकते हो तो ऑनलाइन, ऑफलाइन तो ऑफलाइन। हाँ, लेकिन कोशिश करना मंथ में एटलीस्ट 1 or 2 days ऑफलाइन आने के लिए, because if I don't see your face properly, I will not be able to understand where you are standing, तुम्हारे दिमाग में घुस रहे या नहीं। फेस से ज्यादा मुझे आंख आंख दिखाई देना चाहिए। हाँ, उससे पता चलता है कि अंदर में घुसा है या नहीं घुसा। तो कम से कम वो एक दिन 2 दिन मंथ में अगर आओगे तब भी पता चल जाता है। लेकिन एकदम नहीं आया वो मत करो, तब एकदम तुम लोग को समझ में आया या नहीं समझ में आया मुझे पता नहीं चलेगा। तब समझने के लिए एक बार आंख देखना पड़ता है। ये तुम लोग भी जब पढ़ाओगे तुम लोग को भी 1-2 महीना में ये टेक्निक पता चल जाएगा। आंख देख के ही पता चल जाता है कि इसको समझ में आया है या नहीं आया है। वो बोला ना, आईज डोंट लाई, चोक मिथ्ये कथा बोले ना। हाँ, अगर तुमको
हाँ
सही
सर।
जानना है तो आंख में देखो। ये 1-2 महीने में ही पता चले, मतलब पढ़ाते पढ़ाते 1-2 महीने में ही पता चलता है कि किस स्टूडेंट के दिमाग में घुस रहे हैं नहीं। नया टीचर था तब मुझे पता नहीं चलता, 1-2 महीने में पता चल गया कि ये तो सो रहा है या इसको इसके दिमाग में घुस नहीं रहा है, ये बोर हो रहा है, सब पता चल जाता है आंख से। चेहरे से पता नहीं चलता है, आंख से पता चल जाता है। चेहरे से पता चल इसको दिमाग में कुछ घुस नहीं रहा है, लेकिन आंख देखोगे तो वो हाँ घुस रहा है लेकिन उसका चेहरा दूसरा है, ये पता चलता। सो यू हैव टू बी, एक बार कभी कभी दिखाना, मतलब फेस दिखाने के लिए आ जाना ऑफलाइन, ठीक है?
ओके सर।
ओके।
यस सर।